Hello guys, welcome back. Ghost 4H Delta X-Ray Studios here. Today I have presented for you two doors. One is a cube with a door texture, a height map, and a specular map. One of these models is the same thing, but a little more in depth with the 3D modeling. And I'll give you a few seconds to see if you can identify which one is actually, textured with actual 3D modeling to it, and which one is just a cube with just a texture on it. I'll give you a few seconds to see if you can figure it out. All right, so hopefully you guys have probably figured it out. If you've been doing 3D modeling for a little while, you probably called it right off the bat. If you're kind of new to 3D modeling, you probably like, well, they kind of look the same. Well, if I go to a side view here, you can now tell which one is actually 3D modeled. The second door, I actually went the extra mile and 3D modeled the door, and on the first model, I just made a cube, made the dimensions right, and just put a texture on with some normal maps and height maps and specular maps. So one of the things I do want to kind of talk about here is, from a straight on perspective of this, you almost can't tell the difference. So in video games, should we really be going the extra mile for something like a door, 3D modeling, like really 3D modeling a door, not just texturing a cube, but 3D modeling a door, or should we just add a texture? Honestly, something we do as 3D modelers, as you slowly progress and get better at it, is I don't know if I don't know, maybe you won't, maybe you don't do it, but I do it. When I play games like Call of Duty World at War II, Battlefield 4, I'm always looking at the models that they have in the game levels, and I always I die a lot in these games because of this. But I always try to look to see what AAA games, what do they 3D model and what do they don't 3D model. So I guess one of the things here I want to talk about for this video is just when and when not to 3D model. And personally, I mean, it's pretty straightforward answer. The only time I think you should really 3D model is when the character is actually going to have a 3D view of it. If they can be in front, on the side, or behind it, if they can do a whole 360 view of the object, it should be 3D modeled. As for like these doors here I have, you probably don't actually have to 3D model a door. I mean, as simple as this door texture on the right here or the left here looks, you could just texture, height map, specular map, adjust it accordingly, and you can get almost the same result as this 3D model door. So, should we 3D model a door or should we not 3D model a door? Honestly, personal preference. Honestly, for me to get the way, let me get out of this. For me to get the same results as door number one, I'm going to tab over. Look at all the twists that I had to go through, like all the faces. Let's go to vertice mode here. Like all the vertices that I had to do to like mimic what door number one was with proper texturing and proper mapping and stuff. Where I tab out of that and I go to door one, and I just made this door with 12 twists. Very low count. It's just going to face mode here. It's just one face. Where door number two, go in, you can see all the faces in it. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, for me, if you were going to do a door, just texture it. Do really good with your texture maps. Excuse me, I just got off of work not too long ago, so I'm feeling pretty beat. So you have to excuse me. I might be yawning quite a bit in this video. Just something I just kind of wanted to upload this video and kind of talk a little bit about it. So basically, when to and when not to 3D model. If you're gonna do a tree and a level, you probably wanna 3D model it. If you're gonna do an AR-15 or a Glock 45, a Glock I almost said Glock 45, Glock Smith and Wesson, you probably want to 3D model it. You're gonna do a door, just texture it. You're going to do a laptop, just texture it. You know, get by with texturing as much as you can before absolutely having to 3D model something. And like I said, if the player can't run around the 3D model, don't worry about actually 3D modeling it. Just do proper and really good techniques in texturing, and you can almost get by with making them think that, you know, oh well, you know, they did texture it. One of the like, let's see, I'm trying to think of what else I want to say here. I'm trying to keep this video short because I don't want to bore you guys with it. Probably won't get a whole lot of views on this, but this is kind of good, like food for thought. You know, if you just kind of watch this video and think about it, just when to 3D model, when not to 3D model. Like I said, if the player can, if the player in the game can go all the way around it, I would probably 3D model it. Now you're thinking, well, the player can go all the way around the door, and they can so I should probably 3D model the door. Yes and no. Yes, the player can go around the door, but should I 3D model it? Probably not. One thing about us 3D modelers, as we do 3D modeling, when you like I said, when you're playing games, you're seeing, you know, well, did Activision or Dice LA, did these guys texture it or did they 3D model it? And honestly, yeah, you know, the door is going to open, but is the player really going to come over here and be like, oh, is it 3D modeled? Oh, it's not 3D modeled. Shame, shame. No, they don't give a fuck about that. You're playing Call of Duty in the multiplayer or even in the campaign. You playing zombies. You're playing Battlefield 4's campaign, or you're playing Battlefield 4's multiplayer or Battlefield 1, whatever FPS you're playing. You're not looking around, you're not being like me and looking like, oh, they 3D model it and getting killed because you're doing something retarded. You know, like trying to figure out, did they 3D model it? But basically, with good texturing and, you know, just good texturing, you can mimic the same thing as if it was 3D modeled, and the player would not know the difference. Because honestly, you know, before I got into 3D modeling, when I was, you know, I'm playing Battlefield 4, I don't give a shit what these models look like. I mean, as long as the door just doesn't look all jacked up, as long as it don't look, you know, super retarded. Now let me go ahead, like, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'll scroll in here in the node editor here. So if on the scale, you know, if you had a door, if I ran up and the doors looked like this, I would stop and I'd be like, what the hell happened? What is this? What the fuck? But, you know, proper texting, proper UV mapping or atlas mapping, whatever you want to call it. You know, proper texturing and proper scales. Oop, I went a little bit too far on that one. You could, like I said, you know, proper scales and stuff. You can see right here where the next door is actually starting. So let me just kind of, you know what? That actually don't look too bad. You can probably get away with that, honestly. But any more than 1.7, then we're starting to see the next door. So for what I have done, 1.7 would be the highest I would ever go with it. So pretty much just like I've been, you know, kind of talking about, you know, texture what you can and 3D model as little as you possibly can, because, you know, games like Grand Theft Auto 5, you know, you got these big, massive open worlds. And if you would literally go through and 3D model every single little aspect of that type of game, oh my God, I couldn't even tell you what your Tris would be sitting at. And I couldn't tell you what kind of desktop or what kind of hardware the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, I couldn't tell you what kind of hardware it would probably require to run something like that, even if the camera's field of view was set very minimal. So, and, you know, and I'm not for sure exactly totally what they did. So I'm just going out on a limb here and assuming that they textured as much as possible and 3D modeled as little as possible. Because you got to think, though, to have a high quality car like they do, they might be sitting up there in a couple 100,000 tris. You know, those characters could be sitting at a couple 100,000 tris. You know, so I guarantee just in a couple city blocks, so you're probably rendering 2, maybe 3 million, maybe even higher than that in tris. So, you know, in order to keep, you know, your frames per second, you know, pretty good and keep it a smooth gameplay, texture what you can and 3D model what you have to. I mean, like I said, if you got a car in there, you're not gonna get a Nissan GTR and you're gonna slap a texture. You're not gonna get a cube and slap a texture on it. People are gonna know and be like, wow, that looks really retarded. Even if it was a transparent texture, I don't honestly think you could get away with it, and the players would notice, and they'd be like, "Wow, I don't know what's going on here, but this definitely looks really bad." So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video short, though. This is just kind of me just kind of talking and bullshitting about stuff. It's good food for thought, something to think about your games when you're putting stuff in. Like I said, the views, I probably won't get a whole lot of views on this, but it is actually something really good to take in on this. So long story short, when and when not to 3D model, pretty much if the player can go like completely around it, I would 3D model it. Things such as like light posts, trees, cars, people, humanoids, animals. Of course, you want 3D models for that, especially since they're probably going to be animated in your game. You definitely want them to be 3D modeled. But other than that, just basically make it 2D as best you can, and just use a texture as much as you can. So, I hope this video helped you guys out. Until next time, man. I hope you guys have good luck with your 3D modeling, and keep learning, and till next time.